Welcome, what is up? Thank you for tuning back into the Chaos Lair. Of course, I'm Chris Chaos here with your SmackDown coverage. The 411 SmackDown Live, July 4th, by the way. Happy Independence Day to everybody. Big Too Sweet to everybody. I got a lot that I want to get off my chest about what's going on SmackDown, so I'm going to jump right into it and see if I can't navigate through the scratchiness that is my notes right here. Sienna returns, Rusev returns, flag match at some point. AJ Styles and Chad Gable thrown together. It's kind of odd, but it worked. Great match. They had a really great match, I thought, for being like a first time only, and they may have worked on house shows or their tour of Japan. Who knows? I don't know if they've ever worked together. But seeing them work for the first time on TV, it looks really good. So I'm sure AJ led that match, which he should, but I thought it was really good. Carmella promo was good. I mean, she delivered, and she's doing a lot better on her promos. She keeps getting really good on promos. I just wish she'd get a lot more, do a lot better in the ring, but that's just coming from a former worker, so that's just it. Naomi comes out, says she's not scared, brings out Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan first he throws James Ellsworth out of the building, and then he fines him $10,000, and then he suspends him for 30 days, which should be very interesting to see where that goes. Starting I guess in August when he comes back. The women's title, Naomi beats Lana in 20 seconds or something, which I get it. I kind of agree with it now. At the time, I thought, what was the point of this? And I think I even tweeted that out. But thinking back, it's right, because we don't need this match again. We didn't need it the second time, I thought that Lana did the best. Her best work was at the pay-per-view, the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. But anyway, Tamina comes out and she gets Lana to go with her. I don't really know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on there. But let's see what happens. See what plays out. Then Corbin attacks Nakamura backstage, just because. And then they never mention it again the rest of the night, which is weird. Or even on Talking Smack, which I'll get to. And then we find out the flag match is going to happen at Battleground. So that's pretty cool. I like the flag matches just because they have an old school mentality on them. By the way, I am a huge proponent, and I loved the ropes tonight. I know it was because it was the 4th, but I kind of wish they would go back to using the red, white, and blue ropes. Like, maybe for the 4 major pay-per-views. So, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble. Let's go back to using the red, white, and blue ropes for where both the brands come together. It's something different. That's another idea, courtesy of El Chaos, that the WWE should look into. Vince, you can go ahead and send me my check just anytime. All this free advice that I give here, courtesy of my YouTube page. And my Twitter, by the way, because that's always popping. So, the rap battle, which I tweeted and thought that it was going to, I said, I have thought about this all week and was afraid that this was going to end up being like a kind of a part 2, or not a part 2, but it was going to be just as bad, like This Is Your Life Bailey remade into a rap battle with guys that shouldn't be in the ring rapping just because 3 of them are black and 2 of them are Samoan. Really, come on. But it was really good. The Usos won that rap battle. And I don't know if any of that was you don't know what's scripted and what's not. as far as one of the writers handing them and saying, here's your rap battle. I would hope that they worked with the writers, and I hope that they got that line cleared before they did it. I know everything else was fine. It was just really funny. Biggie, let's just keep it PG. You know what's good. Just don't get all rated R like your boy Xavier Woods. They should have just ended it there, because there was nothing that whole Roman Reigns thing. They should have done that first, and then the Usos should have dropped the mic on that one. That should have been it. Should have been over after that, because there is no coming back after that that line. And if somebody's watching this and don't know what I'm talking about, go ask somebody. I'm not gonna dignify that right now with a response. The Aiden English spot was tremendous. I'm glad that they're using Aiden. By the way, and I've said this tons of times, Aiden has a majestic voice. He really does. I mean, he could legitimately, make money as a singer, but he chooses to do this because he loves it. Props to him. Of course, Randy Orton cuts him off, comes out, and then Aiden jumps him, which I thought was brilliant. And then go to commercial, although they went small frame with it, so you saw it over here while this is the commercial. Randy gets up, gets back in the ring. They have the match. Randy wins, Randy loses disqualification because he hits Aiden with the steel steps. So it was kind of a bury once the match started, but once Randy got going, or anyway, and then AJ Styles wins the Independence Day Battle Royal to get another shot at the United States title at Battleground against Kevin Owens, and then Kevin Owens beats him down. Now, a couple of things I've got wrote down here that I wanted to get to. Tanae Young. Fucking Tyler Breeze does it again. Put a belt on him. I'm just saying. And you know what? Scratch that. He doesn't even need a belt because he's getting super over without a belt right now. That's all I got to say. Fandango tonight wasn't as funny. I'm glad they didn't do the Fashion Vice, Fashion Files, Fashion Vista, whatever. Because you don't have to do it every week. With that being said, I'm also glad that there was only one women's match this week, because the women have been so heavily focused. I mean, they had 3 segments last week for that ladder match. So it's SmackDown Live going into Money in the Bank, and then for 2 weeks after, 2 episodes after Money in the Bank, were so women focused. The women's division was the sole focus in the ladder match, which it should have rightfully been. That you don't need, those girls don't have to be on TV. They can take some time off. Now, Carmella, yes, she needed to be on TV tonight, and was, and so I'm happy about that. But the other girls weren't needed. With that being said, next week, we need to have a number 1 contender for Battleground for Naomi. By the way, I love what they did with the title. Letting her have her own spin on it, and, several people have had their own titles throughout the years. Of course, probably the best one was the $1 Million title. Of course, Stone Cold had his belt, and there were others. But I also agree with Naomi from what she said on Talking Smack, which is she wants Charlotte. That's who she thinks she wants. I think eventually you can have a Carmella match, kind of like Edge did. Edge had the briefcase, and he actually wrestled for the title. He went through and won a tournament and wrestled for the title, which is not a bad idea, and maybe they could tinker around with that. But anyway, let me just look. Yeah, I think I covered everything that I had wrote down. So, I mean, there was a lot going on tonight. I mean, I've got more notes for SmackDown than I had for Raw last night, which was crazy. But then again, I pulled stuff from Talking Smack and ideas and things. So anyway, but it was a really good night. I thoroughly enjoyed the show, and I can't wait to see you next week. Now, we are on the road to the pay-per-view that shall, once again, not ever be named on this, well, not ever out of my mouth. It will never have that pay-per-view has no name. It's just the pay-per-view. So, when you come back on Sunday night to get my thoughts on the pay-per-view, it's going to say, the 411, the pay-per-view, July, whatever day it is. July 9th, I think, is what day it is. So, there it is. Anyway, that's all I've got. Thank you for joining. Please subscribe if you haven't. Too sweet to all my boys. And always follow me on Twitter at TheAnswerCast. Until then, deuces. Cast out.